All right, everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode that is
Live from the Lair!
in reality, pre-recorded.
Gotcha.
All right, now, what I want to go over today is there's been a lot of hoopla going on about some executive orders that Trump has signed to, deal with divorce or the divorce situation. I am looking at a list of these executive orders, and I've tried to research this, and I don't believe that has been done.
Do you like stories about serial killers? What about psychics? How about a psychic serial killer with a conscience wiping out the filth of society?
Yeah!
If you thought Dexter was a great show that went soft in its final seasons, these are the books for you. Introducing The Jericho Files, written by an old infantry grunt who has seen evil firsthand, and digested it into grade A gore porn with 5-star reviews all around. Click on the link tree in the Meat Gazer box and buy your copies today on Amazon, you filthy, dirty riggers.
I don't know if it's some rumor or some kind of viral thought that has permeated the internet and what have you, but it appears that is false. Now, in the grand scheme of things, if they don't deal with the lack of marriage, people not having kids, the crashing dating market, and get to the actual root causes, it doesn't really matter all of the policy changes and money that they're saving, what have you. You build a structure on a bad foundation, the structure will fail.
This house will last forever!
Every single time, it might take some time, that does happen. And without a stable bedrock of the family, all of this, in my opinion, is more than likely going to be for naught. All right, so as it stands now, and there's other newer studies that try to paint these stats in a more positive light. But let's just be honest.
Ty, I would like you to crunch those numbers again.
It's programmed. There's no such thing.
Just crunch them.
Their chance of a divorce first time out is roughly 50%, plus or minus 5 or 6%, depending upon state, location, factors, what have you.
That's a 50% failure rate.
63 to 65% if you decide to do it again because you just didn't quite get enough stitches when the court got done taking their turn on you. And if you're one of those other turbo super idiots who does it for a third time,
How is this still getting worse?
you're looking at roughly 75% chance of divorce rate. That's just the way it is. Why it is that way? Well, in my opinion, 80% of the divorces are filed by women. That stat goes up more when you bring in women who are college educated. It goes up into the 90s. And I have the 80-80 rule, which is 80% of the time the woman's going to file for divorce, and 80% of the time the man will be caught completely off guard.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
All right, and there's some other stats floating around out there. 85% of the time, no matter what, the mother is going to get custody of those children, and the man is going to be on the hook for, sometimes it's level of child support that just can't be sustained.
As I feared, injury makes defense untenable.
So you're ruining somebody else's life because somebody decided they're not happy. And then the children are going to grow up without a father because that every other weekend and 4 hours on a Thursday, that's just not enough time.
No shit.
Doing this now, this show, since roughly 2009 with Purple Heart's Final Beat, which is a video we put out in regards to soldier suicide and its direct link to divorce court and or family court. 60 to 70% of all of the veteran suicides that I looked at where I could get a write-up on it, there's always that language in there, divorce, stepchildren, what have you. And, roughly 5 to 7 years going back, they had contact with family court in there, and that's just the way it goes. So it is what it is. Now, granted, when these people are like, oh yeah, Trump is getting involved, I have not seen any of the executive orders. Now, let's just be honest here. Trump's been divorced, I think, twice now. He knows the deal, All right. I'm sure lots of his friends, if not all of his close friends, all have been divorced. And they basically had to feel the pain. Now, granted, when you're a billionaire getting divorced, it is nothing like being a guy who makes $55,000 a year. Because there's a lot of guys out there who are absolutely homeless because they're never going to get out from underneath the child support. Because we just went through a whole decade and a half of record low interest rates. We're talking anywhere between 1 to 2.5%. And these guys who have these arrearages in child support, those interest rates weren't connected to the market. We're talking 9, 10, 11, somewhere up near 17% interest on the child support that you didn't pay. And these guys just say, fuck it, I'm not working anymore. Because the minute I get a job, guess what?
They take my whole check.
I can't live. Something's got to give, man. And we're already seeing the marriage rates. I saw one stat a year and a half back. 5.1 out of 1,000 are getting married. Just think about that. For every 1,000 people,
5.1.
are getting married. As long as the laws are so blatantly one-sided and so many people are committing suicide over this, you know what I say?
Let marriage die in the vine.
All right. So just so you guys don't think I'm bullshitting you here. All right. This is page 1 of the executive orders. And you can see here, this is dated from February 26th. So this is from today. All right. So I'm not going to read them all to you, but I'm just going to go through the list here and just go through the topics. Health, economy, government, immigration, government, health, government, energy, and health. Let's see. Let's hit the next one. Foreign policy, government, foreign policy, other. Ending procurement of forced use of paper straws. Government, foreign policy, religion. All right. I didn't know that one. That was a good one. Eradicating anti-Christian bias. That will help down the road. Social, foreign policy. This social one here is keeping women out of women's sports. Border security, economy, border security, foreign policy, social, add measures to combat all anti-Semitism. Government, education, health, okay, chemical and surgical mutilation, got it. Military, government, infrastructure, regulation, all right, communication, government, foreign policy, government, social, ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunities. I wish you could bring that down to, I don't know, family court. Because if you're a dude and you've ever been divorced, you know I'm not lying. As soon as you walk in there, everyone is foaming at the mouth, ready to lube you up and take their strokes and, a good portion of your wallet while they're fucking you over. Foreign policy. All right, we have some social here. Reform federal hiring process. Okay. Wasteful government DEI programs. Defending women and gender ideology, extremism, and restoring biological truth to the federal government. Immigration, foreign policy. All right, so I have not seen anything in regards to divorce here. This is dated as of February 26th. All right, national emergency, border security, criminal justice, energy, border, government. Let's see, just to make sure. We're trying to States World. Okay. And 8. Okay, Application of Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary-Controlled Applications Act, TikTok. All right, so I'm not seeing, there's nothing here. All right, there's more executive orders. Now, a lot of these have not really been covered in the media at all. Mainly because the media is owned by 8 corps and has been bought and paid for. And again, this is me trying to track down more of these executive orders, which sounds to me like it's just smoke and mirrors, gentlemen. And this is from what fullfact.org, and I usually don't really take anyone who's a fact checker at face value. I always have to look for myself, which we just did. And it's saying here, President Trump has changed divorce laws to stop 50% distribution of property. That is not the case. All right. Now, again, I've been doing this since 2009, and I've heard thousands upon thousands of stories. Hundreds of them where a dude gets married. He's literally married, but somewhere between 24 and 36 months. She decides she's not happy. They get divorced. And
She walks out of the deal with a fucking house and a car.
That happens all of the time. And we are now in our third generation of men who've watched their fathers, grandfathers, uncles, great-grandfathers, brothers, cousins, friends just get absolutely savaged by this fucking unjust system. And I know there's probably out there, well,
Popp, you just picked a bad one. You shook the horde tree expecting a wife to fall out.
you're absolutely correct. I did. But I did not deserve to be left living out of my car for about 6 months. And that's fairly common, if you ask me. Because I'm a firm believer. If I'm going to go into battle, I want to know everything there is to know about my enemy, all of his tactics, all of his tricks, all the tools that he has at his disposal, so I can understand and meet him on the field of battle and have a fighting chance.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
All right, so I did my research, and when I finally walked into divorce court, I really got a rude awakening. They used my military service against me. I was labeled a murderer and an assassin in open court. The people who do the custody investigation, I think I left a list of like eight people to contact. They contacted one, and on my my ex-wife's side, there was like 15. It's supposed to be cut off at 12. I got absolutely fucking crushed. And if it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone. Just look at Brad Pitt. That one went on for 8 goddamn years, and all of his kids are alienated against him. And everyone in this culture think it's totally fine for a woman to do, despite the fact that you are severely crippling those children in their future. But women will sacrifice their family for their happiness, and men will sacrifice his happiness for his family. And we just get decimated. There really is, there's nothing else to be said.
0.0.
The system is so corrupt. Look, I've tried to change it as a men's rights activist, and we can't even meet without these feminazis showing up, calling in bomb threats, calling direct threats of violence, pulling fire alarms, doing all kinds of crazy shit. And that's where we are. In 2016, I made a video directly, targeted at President Trump in his first term. It didn't go anywhere. We'll put the links in the description. Maybe you guys can, email him, ambush him, fill his emails with links to that video. And while you're at it, send him Purple Heart's Final Beat. Because out of all of the videos that I've ever done, that first one saved more people from suicide than any of the other ones. So it is what it is. All right, well, that's just my opinion on the so-called hype of these executive orders. I have not seen it as of yet. Maybe there will be one. I'm not really holding a lot of hope for it because as a man, at some point, you're just going to have to accept the fact that you are completely expendable and disposable and forgettable. And that's just the long and the short of it. You guys take it easy. I will talk to you later. Out.